Okay, and here we are this week. We are very crowded, much more than usual. I usually have these lives alone or with maybe one guest, but today the entire team is here. So hello, everyone. It's great to do this with
Merry
all this
Christmas.
company. How are you, everyone?
I'm feeling great. Even though it's a crazy Christmas, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. I'm feeling really good too. Very, very happy to be here and see all of you because we don't get to see each other every day like we used to do in person.
That's true. It's been forever since we've ran into each other at the school, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
And Robin, is this your first Christmas in Italy?
It's my second or third, actually.
Okay.
I finally made it into town the other day to see all the Christmas lights in Florence, which were very
nice.
beautiful.
And they are gorgeous now, aren't they? They're so beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. And in the previous years, you didn't go home for Christmas? You stayed here?
My family, my parents, and one of my brothers came to me one year, and then one year I went home.
Nice.
So,
nice. And so tell me something about like Italian Christmas. And, I know what surprised you the most about our Christmas traditions or what we usually do at Christmas.
The panettone, the sweet bread, all the food. I mean, what else could you say about Italian Christmas? The food is the heart of the tradition, no?
It always is. It always is.
The food is the heart of everything.
Yes. And this year, even though it is kind of an extraordinary Christmas in many ways for many people, and I'm personally sad not to be with my family, but I feel fortunate because I'm close with my neighbors, and one of my neighbors just bought one of those outdoor heating lamps. So maybe we could try and do a socially distant gathering outside. Who knows? We'll see.
Nice.
That would be nice.
And Susan and Sheila, I'm guessing you've had a fair share of Italian Christmases.
Many. Many.
I think you've had more than I have, Susan. You go first.
Well, I've been here for 29 years, and I have often gone back and forth. Oftentimes I will go back to the United States on the 26th, for example. I'll spend Christmas Day here, and then the next day I'm on a plane. So this is going to be an unusual Christmas because I will be here the entire time. And one thing that I can tell you that that was a little bit difficult for me to get used to here was Christmas in an apartment, because I didn't know how to explain Santa Claus coming with the reindeer because we don't have a chimney. And so I had so Santa Claus and his reindeer landed on our balcony and would leave glitter, on the balcony and trail it into the house. And then I would be sweeping this glitter until Easter.
Of course.
It seemed like a good idea. And it was a very interesting, it was a different thing to get used to because I grew up, in an area where obviously people were spaced out more in New Jersey. And so we had rather large homes. And it's very common in the United States for people to have a kitchen and a dining room and a living room and maybe what they call a family room. And the family room would be like where you watch TV and it's where everybody is, with their feet up on and then you'd have the living room, which was kind of like the good room.
Yeah.
And that's where you would have the tree. Yeah. Yes. And now living in an apartment, it's, your space is limited. And so, you have your tree where where you're doing everything else in your life. And so it was an interesting thing for me to get used to, but the food, there's no contest.
I think that was the easy part to get.
That was yes. I mean, why would anyone leave on the 25th when you can eat all of that food? Then you leave the day after and you go do other things. How about you, Sheila?
Well, I used to go, listening to you, I used to go before Christmas so I could come back and spend time with Christmas Day with my Italian family here because my parents lived in Los Angeles for so many years. So I used to go and I'd come back a few days before Christmas. But the traditions are so different. One thing that came to my mind before we actually, got into our interview here is that the Italians really treasure the nativity scene. I think much more than in our countries. We tend to think about the Christmas tree and all the decorations. And here like my husband said, the Christmas tree is not that important to me. I want to have the nativity scene this year.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, well, maybe we should just have the Christmas tree, because we too have a house that's very small, like an apartment. So we don't have a lot of space. But in my family, when I was growing up, we used to actually open Christmas presents on Christmas Eve. That was our tradition. Mm-hmm. And then in the morning, I'd always have a stocking waiting for me. And so I'd have to go and see what tiny gifts were in a stocking, a Christmas stocking, which is like a sock, Christmas sock. And we'd always leave cookies out for Santa Claus. And in the morning, I'd run to the kitchen and I'd see that the glass of milk was drunk, and there was bites in the cookies, but they were never fully eaten. Of course. Yeah. So, so I mean, it's very different here. It's different here. I love the traditions here too. And the food is great. The food is fabulous. But yeah, I would go beforehand and I'd come back so I'd be here in time for my family. The biggest thing I miss is the good weather because they were from Los Angeles and there was always sun and it just was always a nice place to be.
Yes, I spent Christmas in Los Angeles maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And it was awesome. It was so warm. It was fantastic.
Robin, what are they talking about?
They don't appreciate a white Christmas. On the Northeast, where my parents are in Rhode Island, which is the smallest state just south of Boston, they're expecting a snowstorm today. I think almost a foot of snow. So yeah, I do miss a white Christmas. I think in Florence, did it snow one random day last winter and then it didn't really stick? It just kind of melted away. So yes, I miss, as much as I complain about the cold weather in the winter and I hated snow living in Boston, I do like a white Christmas. I like snow on Christmas Day. That is nice.
But I can tell you that if you will get to experience a white Christmas over here, you'll see why we all hate it, because we're not good at it. We don't know what to do. We freak out. Right. We had, I don't know, I'm 28. I've been living here my whole life. And I remember one snowfall and the country was paralyzed. Like they send emergency helicopters in the highways to give water to people. And it wasn't, it was insane. Like the whole country was paralyzed for 3 days. No one would move. And everyone has a horror story about that day, about how they got stuck for 15 hours in the car for their usual 20 minutes commute. Susan, you have one? You have a horror story about that day? I knew it.
And while I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of all of the teachers that we have had at Europass from Poland, from Estonia, from Finland,
really cold places.
from North, and I'm sure they're sitting there shaking their heads like, these Italians, they're such lightweights.
They can't handle little snow.
No,
we definitely couldn't handle it.
So you never made a snowman as a child, Cristina? There never enough snow for a snowman?
I think I remember once where barely stick enough so that we could put together. But we would go to Abetone, the mountains nearby. Okay. And that's where snow is supposed to be. There's supposed to be a designated area where you can go for a Sunday and spend a few hours playing with the snow. And then you come back to your house and the road is clean.
Right.
And I think that's how I like
What would you? I'm curious, Cristina. What would you eat growing up in Italy? What would you eat for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day? And what were your traditions? Did you always have a Christmas tree? Did you have a nativity scene? How was it for you?
Oh, no, we always had a Christmas tree, no nativity at my place, but that really depends on families. So some families are very loyal to their nativity scene and pass it on and keep it getting bigger and bigger every year and make it even really sophisticated, like water going through and like electric parts. But we always had a tree. And I remember I've always loved cooking. And I've shared this passion with my father. And so for us, Christmas was always like this occasion to show off a little bit. And our Christmas tradition was mostly like deciding in the days before what we were going to do and maybe cook something that we normally don't cook because it's elaborate and it takes a lot of time. And then we would go shopping the day before, and then we would meet the 25th in the morning, because we open presents on the morning of the 25th. So we wake up, you too. And so we wake up and we open all the presents and everyone is in a good mood. And then we all move to grandma's house, which has the biggest house and the biggest kitchen and the biggest table. And then me and my family, we just start cooking. And basically we spend the whole day there just preparing meals. And then when it's actually time to eat, no one is hungry because we've been,
Right. I was going to say, Cristina, that really sounds terrible. All day in the kitchen.
No, but it's nice because the kitchen is open. So it's like we're there, we're a little bit cooking, and then we'll go like have a coffee, and then we'll stop, and then we'll, it's nice. It's just a whole day of this. And then maybe we play a little cards. But it's just a whole day spent at home, cooking, having a good time.
What kind of sweet things did you eat? I'm just curious. Maybe we could all talk about the
Panettone, definitely. And then in my house, panforte is a big hit. So I don't know if you know what panforte is, but
maybe our listeners don't know what it is.
Exactly. Panforte is a sweet that is actually more typical from the south part of Tuscany, more in Siena, in those areas. And it's a very sweet, like shortcake made with a lot of nuts and dried fruit. And it's all blended together and then like squished together with like a sweet pressed. Yes.
It's
and then
not really, I'm sorry, it's not really like a cake because it doesn't rise.
No, it's
the translation would be strong bread.
Exactly. It's very dense. It's very dense. It's not
very
soft
dense.
at all. It's very thick and dense.
Yes, I don't think there's even any flour in there.
No.
I think it's fruit and dried nuts and honey, and it's very dense, definitely. And
I once heard a description of it by an American author, and she described it as medieval and cruel. Because it's a very medieval kind of, like, you can see that this would be a tradition that was passed on from generations. And whereas like in American traditions, in US American traditions, we have much more of the idea of a pie.
We do. Lemon meringue pie, pecan pie,
or apple pie, pumpkin pie.
And don't forget the Christmas cookies, ladies.
Oh, right.
When I think of this time of year, I think of holiday parties and like having to bring your best batch of cookies that you ever made to impress everyone else. It almost becomes competitive going to holiday parties and bringing cookies and sometimes even doing a cookie exchange. I remember with my girlfriends in college, every year we would have a cookie exchange. And again, you have to make your best batch of cookies. My winning number is always the chocolate peppermint snow cap cookies. They're little cookies. They kind of look like mountains because you sprinkle them with powdered sugar.
How about gingerbread?
We want some of those.
Yeah, I'll make some.
I think of gingerbread when I think of Christmas. The little gingerbread cookie boys. With the shapes, gingerbread is so good too.
And a gingerbread house.
Exactly.
Mhm. We had a competition in my family last year of who could make the best gingerbread house with the most decorations, and it's as I'm sitting here listening to you, I'm thinking about how many different traditions, even in exchanging gifts with people. Things like Secret Santa. Have you ever done a Secret Santa? Do you know what that is?
I think you pick a name out of a hat, don't you?
Secret Santa, it's in order to not buy gifts for everyone, right? Maybe in a family where, in my family, I had 27 first cousins. So first cousins means that we had the same grandparents. So we were all 27. And my aunts and uncles, I had 8 sets of aunts and uncles. And, it would have been very complicated for them to buy gifts for everyone.
Absolutely.
So we would pull names out of a hat. And so each set of aunt and uncle would have certain nieces and nephews that they would buy gifts for. But it was a surprise. And so it was always nice on Christmas Day when we would open our gifts with our family. And then we'd usually go to church. I grew up Catholic, and we'd go to church. We'd visit neighbors. We'd have a wonderful, American style breakfast. And then in the afternoon was when we went to my grandparents' house. And it was a crazy scene of kids running around everywhere, sweaty. They're wearing their nicest Christmas clothes. And they're just, my aunts all looking like they had been hit by a truck. Because, they looked great in the morning, but by Christmas afternoon, they were ready for a drink.
Absolutely. Enough is enough already.
But it was also fun, that anticipation. It was a moment of special connection with that aunt and uncle that maybe you didn't always get to spend that. It feels special with. And we do it. We continue doing it among friend groups because, it's wonderful to get a surprise, and get away from overconsumption, where you're just like buying too many things and spending too much money.
That's
and
right.
That's certainly something that I think that coronavirus has put us more in touch with.
I agree. In my family, I mean, we're a very small family, especially the part that's actually living here. And so we really, it's just about buying maybe 4 or 5 presents. And so in our family, like a first round of family, we always buy gifts for everyone, and we always get a gift from everyone. But we are a very small family who's actually living here, because my mom definitely has the biggest family, but they all live in the States, and she's alone here. And my father is an only child, and so it's just a small family. Really small when we're here. When we're like all together at the table, we're like 7.
Wow.
So not a big crowd.
And there's so many differences within the same country, there really is. So, it doesn't matter if you're in Italy, you're in the States, every family's different.
Definitely. And what do you usually eat now for Christmas Eve or Christmas lunch? I don't know which one is more important to you. We usually do like tortellini on the Christmas Eve, and then Christmas lunch is more elaborate, and we take a long time prepping it and cooking it.
Well, go ahead, Sheila.
Well, I've already talked about it for this year with my mother-in-law. So we've actually decided, we've been eating our meals separately, because in Italy, usually you have your meals with everyone, and extended family is very important. But this year we've been eating separately. So we're both going to make things, but we're probably going to eat separately again this year. So actually we've decided on the 25th that, they'll be having lots of courses. So we're going to have the crostini, which is the pieces of bread, with the different toppings, whatever they might be. And then we're going to have the ravioli, and then we're going to have the roast beef. And then with the roast beef, we'll have the potatoes and other vegetables, probably broccoli. The ones that my son will eat, we'll have. And then we'll have dessert. I'm going to make a wonderful, cheesecake or something. That's what I'll make. Mhm.
I love cheesecake.
Yeah, me too. How about you guys? What are you guys going to make this year?
Growing up in an Italian-American family, I used to always love helping my mother make gnocchi, homemade gnocchi, with ricotta as a base, so a cheese base rather than the typical potato base too. So that maybe will be something that I'll recreate this year, even if I'll be eating virtually with the family on the other side of the Atlantic. But
my grandmother, my Italian grandmother on my father's side used to make homemade ravioli, and they were exquisite. I do not have such gifts. I buy a wonderful ravioli. And yes, that's what I do. And we also will have different things, what they say in Italian, pasta al forno. So any baked pasta, it could be lasagna, or it could be crespelle, some of these wonderful combinations of tomato.
Tomato.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm actually going to make lasagna on the 24th. I am going to make lasagna then. So how about you, Cristina?
So like everyone, this year is going to be very different. It's going to be definitely more distance Christmas, because I don't live in the same town as the rest of my family does. So even if we have kept contact in these months, but apparently for the to help prevent the spread of a third wave, there is going to be a more severely enforced lockdown on Christmas Day, and we won't be able to leave our town. So unless they're talking about changing that, so if that changes, I will go to my grandparents' house, because I see them regularly anyway, because they help me with my daughter, and we haven't been isolating. We are all careful, but we have been seeing each other regularly. But on Christmas Day, I won't be able to reach them. And so I probably have a quiet Christmas at home. And if that's the case, I haven't decided yet on what to make, because I'm not very excited about this view of Christmas. And so I'd rather have a more like low key, just do something relaxing here with the family, with just my partner and my daughter, and then maybe a few days after go and have a big lunch with my family, with the extended family, and see what we'll do. So
yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very different Christmas all around Europe, all around the world, because I hear, and I would love to hear from some of our teachers what's happening in your countries, because there's always a lot of chit chat, we would say, about, oh, well, in Germany they're doing this, and then in France they're doing that, and then I heard, and we're always comparing. And it seems like, of course, because of the fact that we get new information every day about the number of cases, and we really do want to, well, I don't know about you, but I really want to, I want for people to stay safe, because we're really anxious to get back to doing what we love to do.
Yes,
we can't wait.
Yeah, it's
get back to having our classes, our courses here, face to face with these teachers, and we're so happy to be able to see them online sometimes. But I know, I speak for myself, there's that energy that we managed to create all together in the classroom. There's nothing like it. And so I will do my part. So I'm not going to be partying in the middle of the center as usual for New Year's Eve.
I know. And we have to tell everyone what our New Year's resolutions are, if we have any. Our New Year's resolutions, that would be an interesting thing to talk about. Maybe end with, and then if people had questions, what do you think, Cristina?
About New Year resolutions?
Yeah.
2020 has been an interesting year for me, and I've definitely picked up some habits that I wish to bring with me in 2021. So lockdowns and a lot of alone time, much more than I was used to, brought new habits. I've definitely went back to a lot more reading that I was doing compared to what I was doing in recent years. I've definitely picked up exercising, which was something that I've always considered like not my thing. And now I'm actually enjoying it. And so I just hope to, like, my New Year resolution is to bring the best of 2020, to really try and look for what was precious in it and what was good about it, and trying to bring it with me in the years to come. And so that doesn't feel so much that it was a wasted year or that everything was a disaster. But so that's my New Year resolution, trying to bring the best of 2020 in 2021.
That's a great goal. Yeah, one of my activities from 2020 that I will definitely bring forward, and maybe in more frequency in 2021, is writing letters to friends and family, like snail mail, as we call it in English. So sending a letter via post, which is a nice way for anyone really to stay in touch with people at a distance, even if it is easy with technology nowadays. There's something special about receiving a physical letter in the mail. So I want to maybe do that even more frequently in 2021.
Wow, I would never think to do that, Robin. That's a great idea.
It's not always sure that it will arrive across.
Sheila and I did enough of that. We did enough of that on that airmail paper, right? That would like curl up as you were writing because it was made like out of this rice paper.
So thin.
Yes,
That's right.
yes. I was thinking, listening to Christina's New Year's resolution about bringing the best of 2020, which I think is a really important message. I think what 2020 has helped me learn was to not be constantly thinking about the future, to be constantly racing into, then there's this, then there's that, then there's this other thing. 2020 told me that I had to stay in the present. Mm-hmm. And I was disoriented in the beginning. I was happy for a moment because I could rest, but it was a little disorienting. And what I realized that I would like to bring with me from this 2020 is to simplify aspects of my life and enjoy the moment much more. And I think I actually am going to enjoy this Christmas more than I have enjoyed past Christmases because of the fact that, first of all, can you imagine what it was like to work and sing and have all these different things like exploding the entire month of December? Then you'd get to Christmas Eve and you're trying to wrap these gifts and you're thinking, oh, I didn't do enough and I didn't do it. It's always, the self-flagellating, and then basically, spend Christmas Day thinking, okay, I have to get on a plane the next day. Right. And I would do it again, but I'm happy to have experienced something different. And so I think that there were some unexpected gifts in this 2020. So that would be my New Year's resolution, is to remember that and to continue giving value to that.
Yeah. What about you, Sheila?
Well, yeah, I think 2020 has gave us some of the unexpected gifts it's given me is more time with my family. And so I've just loved spending more time with my son and my husband and being all together. I've just loved it. I'm going to miss that when we go back to normal again. But I've also been cooking a lot. I have been cooking a lot. So I love trying new recipes. I've been trying Italian recipes and, French recipes. I made a wonderful Persian love cake, and I'm probably going to make it again for Christmas if I don't make cheesecake. But I just love cooking. So I've done a lot of cooking. I hope to continue that. But I also need to lose some weight because I've gained so much weight just cooking and eating and cooking and eating and cooking and eating. So anyway, I hope to continue with the good meals. I do. And I hope to continue with, a lot of the creativity with trying, with work and all of that. So I'm going to carry that into 2021, thinking about the time I've spent with my family and cooking and and losing some weight. That's that's a typical right for a New Year's
That's a typical resolution.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We can join Cristina in her exercise.
I like
routine.
it. That's a great idea. Yeah.
And I just love, I'm not a party girl. And for this year, I'm just so relieved that I'm not forced to go to a party on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
I'm just so happy about it. I'm gonna have a perfectly good reason to have a very laid back New Year's Eve. And I'm just gonna I'm not gonna even see midnight. I'm gonna say hello to 2021 on the next morning.
Yeah. It's been good for introverts, I think, hasn't it, in a way this year? Because we haven't been forced to do some of those things maybe socially. I don't consider myself an introvert, but it's interesting that I've thought about that sometimes. Gosh, well, if you didn't want to do that, you could, we don't have to do those social things maybe we don't want to do sometimes.
Exactly. No, me neither. I'm definitely not an introvert, but I don't like crowded parties and like when there's a lot of noise and a lot of people. And I really have to be in the mood for it. And it's very rare that I am. And usually it's never the 31st. It's never New Year's Eve when you have to do it and you booked it a month in advance. And it's just the whole thing. It's usually, I never have a good time on New Year's Eve.
I know.
So this year it's just going to be a relaxed one. We're going to say goodbye to 2020 in a low-key manner, and I'm going to make it work.
One thing that I have missed though terribly, and is singing Christmas carols and doing Christmas concerts. This is something that has that's my Christmas tree. That's my nativity scene. That's my Christmas meal, is all of the concerts leading up to Christmas Day. So it's like having many Christmas days and people being able to sing together. And this I miss terribly. And yes, I will be really looking forward to, I think the Christmas of 2021 will be amazing. For many reasons.
Yes. We're gonna write a list of everything that we will miss in enjoying Christmas 2020 and make sure to then tick it off our bucket list for Christmas 2021.
Yes, it's true. And I have such good thoughts also for all of the students that our teachers have been helping. And I'm happy for these teachers that get a moment to rest.
Absolutely.
Sleep.
Yes.
Have a nice glass of wine.
Much needed.
Bubble bath. Exactly. And just let it go. And, but at the same time, I feel like they need to be honored and thanked for everything that they have been doing.
It hasn't been easy for them.
Since March. And it may be in some ways has been even more challenging since September. Because the novelty has worn off, and I'm particularly happy for our teachers to get a break.
Much needed break. Yeah. So thank you, Susan, Sheila, and Robin, for joining me in this live event. We are here every Thursday at 1 p.m. and we cover different topics related to English vocabulary, English learning, and our English courses. You can already enroll on our website, but we will start officially 12th, 13th, and 14th of January. And this was the great occasion to meet all of the English team at Europass Teacher Academy. And
and that could be a teacher's New Year's resolution as well, is to work on your English so that then when you do come to Florence or Barcelona or Berlin or Dublin or any of the locations that they truly feel that they can feel comfortable talking to people from all around the world.
That's a great resolution.
It is.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone, for being with us. Thank you to all the teachers that were listening to us. I can say hello to Alice, Bugonea, Elisabetta, Isabel. They were all watching us. So thank you for being with us. And enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. That's right. Happy holidays. And thank you so much for having us, Cristina.
Absolutely, Cristina. Happy
Enjoy
New Year
your holidays.
And yes, all our best to all of the teachers that are so affezionati, that are so, close to us. And we're really looking forward to seeing you in the new year.
You
We
again.
certainly are. Yeah. Have a wonderful
Bye,
holiday.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.